It's a thing of like able to say like why we have Orania, right? I'm not against Orania, but it's a thing of like we have laws in this country that not everyone must separate themselves from others, right? We must all like practice our cultures. We're different people, different cultures. But it's a thing of like I notice like say like why we still have those kind of thing while we have thing called ANC. You understand? That way things started. I was like, no man, there's something wrong.
No, thanks, Chair. So the presentation from Orania speaks about the historical agreement which resulted in the 1996 Constitution. It doesn't speak about the agreement between the Afrikaners and the British in 19 after the so-called Anglo-Boer War, where the Afrikaners were defeated, but later on agreed to share the land with the British to the next.
Mm. So beside that history, the thing we talk about ANC, like beside what the history represent, but it's a thing of like us able to say like man, how can this is the first question number one. ANC promised black people the land. So like you're going to get their land. We are still busy with that process. It's a process that takes long. It's been 7 years now. It's been 32 years now. Black people waiting for land from ANC. Where the people are not working, we have a huge unemployment rate. People hoping the land can create jobs. Definitely, the land will create jobs because the only option we have like now in South Africa to create employment is through land. You understand? Without a land, it will be hard for government to produce work, to produce jobs, right? Because of like in the land, if in the land, we can do a lot of stuff. We can do a lot of stuff. Ish, man, I have a problem with this. Ish. So, hello, good. So, like, the job will be created through the land, right? So, we see ANC hoping is the best way to change our lives. Hoping ANC is the best way to make sure we achieve our dreams. But I don't see ANC like that. We see ourselves we have Orania. Asking myself, how can we have Orania? That say black people are not allowed to stay there. We still have those things in South Africa. We were like say like black people are not allowed to stay in Orania. They want to preserve their culture. And then when we ask, they're going to say like when we ask this, they're going to say like when we ask, they're going to say like is they want to preserve their culture. Who don't have culture? We all have culture, right? So we're going to say like no, we want to preserve our culture. We want to do for our culture, those kind of stuff. But this is a question I'm asking myself. So like, is this a question I'm asking myself? So like, who don't have culture in South Africa? Because everyone in South Africa have its own culture.
Exclusion of black people and to the subjugation of black people, of indigenous South Africans who were recognized as non-humans, who were banished to basic human rights. And he exclusively wants to focus and be stuck on the current constitution, which basically to agreement of the English and the Boers that they must be in control and in charge and ownership.
Like parties, they will spend. There's the thing. the problem with this connection. It's so bad. Also, we have this white party saying like a BBE, like you see like party say like your BBE, like they say BBE affirmative action, even the land without paying any cent because of they want themselves to always benefit. They want themselves always eating. Black child trying to reach their level where like they got the benefits of apartheid. They got land that is being stolen from our forefathers. They were struggling like this because of the action of apartheid. A black child today is struggling because of the action of apartheid. They created generational wealth through apartheid government. They created a business that we don't talk about. They created the business. Today we are going to school. When you are finishing your degree, you are going to work for company that benefited from apartheid.
The resources here in South Africa to the exclusion of black people. Protect? Is he saying that we must still be stuck on the semi-colonial apartheid exclusion of the black majority in Africa in particular? Is that what you're advocating for? You leave Orania to come here to Parliament to say that we must protect the inequalities in terms of land allocation. Is that what you're trying to say to us today here? That we must leave the currently skewed land ownership patterns where the white minority are in control and ownership of huge tracts of land when our people are staying in many informal.
Facts. Facts. But he's telling the truth where black people are living, and then come here and understand. But this is like, yeah, it doesn't work. This thing of what is this? I have to say this thing of it only benefits politician. This thing of BBE. This thing of affirmative action, because of there was no education about that. There was no education about that. That's where like now we come as the youth. Me as the youth saying like, no, we understand like now what is the advantage we have as a black people, trying to correct the past that created by your forefathers. Because what we're doing here, we're trying to create the past that are created by your forefathers. You understand? You don't get it. What we are doing here, we are trying to correct the past that they have done by your forefathers when they came here. They find people, they treat them, they are not like people, right? That's what you are trying to correct, but it doesn't seem like that way. So like us as black people, we must always living in pain, right? That's what we are talking about. Oh my god, I have a problem with Wi-Fi. I try to connect this one, doesn't want to connect. This other one that must connect, it doesn't connect, man. I'm so angry at myself, but the thing of like, you'll be angry, but you just need to accept. It does not appear. I don't know why it does not appear. Wait. I've been putting the password. I want to log to one man is too slow, dog, and this is the beautiful content to focus on. Just the major focus on the beautiful content, but the Wi-Fi is the one that holds you back. The Wi-Fi is the one that holds you back, dog. That's the thing. Video. Good. Let's go like now. Now we are turning to your business now. Good, yeah, hey, we are back again. Let's go and talk about the serious matter now. Let's go and talk about the serious matter I was focusing on. So the problem is like the Wi-Fi when I'm using is too bad. Too bad. Okay, let's go and zoom it and watch.
Settlements here in the Western Cape, in Gauteng, and all over. When our people do not have access to just basic land, which was taken to them through colonial dispossession and violence. Is that what you're saying we must do? Let's hear. Repeat.
You say like things they've done to our forefathers during things they've done to our forefathers. The thing that you say like us we must do them. That's the thing that you were saying, like, because of they came here for fathers, they killed, they beat, they done wrong things. All those things you can say. This was a crime against humanity. So you're saying like we must do the same thing. It's a question to like we must do the same thing to get our land back. That's what we're encouraging. That's what we're encouraging. So like black people they should do the same thing that your forefathers done to our forefathers so that your kids can live the best life. This is the thing I used to say like ANC. I don't understand the failed black people. We are landless. We are the people who do as they please because of they own 7% of the economy. Because of that mindset, like we own 7% we please. Because it's like that. Because they have a 70% of the economy. So they believe they can do as they please. Hmm? This
And I do state categorically that my organization is in favor of a settlement that is based on mutual recognition and the mutual recognition of a living space for all the people that are part of our society. It would be a misunderstanding. It would maybe be a prejudice.
no we are living this struggle because of apartheid. We what happened to our forefathers is 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 the result to us as black people. And then most of the time you'll hear like most of white people will say like black people are lazy, they must stop blaming apartheid. Is the land. The question you must ask first, right? Where's the land? Because that land you keep 70% of the economy. You show you that black people are not lazy. This is a question that always addresses like where is the land? Hmm?
Referring specifically, if I may, to the Honourable Shivambo's point, I would like to say, had we a day or two to discuss the questions of the bad decisions being taken since 1902, 1908, 1910, with the establishment of the Unions of South Africa, which is a relatively recent colonial construct in which we are all fitted in, whether we wanted. I just sent them an email on the WhatsApp. What did they reply?
Yeah, and again, I tried to call admin under your faculty, which course can because also you are trying to register and say like the program is, you know.
good thing because there are
Maybe the thing of like maybe you guys miss each other or you guys are being so lonely. One of you understand, you was so lonely. They was like, man, I miss. You know, sometimes like you miss people when they're not there, but when they're there, you don't appreciate them. Something like that. Maybe you guys miss your deeds, things like that, and maybe the feeling that can can just vanish when you guys when you guys met, spend time together. Be like, ah,
certain points of agreement on which a post-colonial discourse could be built. What we do believe is that the post-colonial discourse in South Africa would not only exist in rejecting Afrikaner interests, but to balance it in some way that is reasonable. That is what we are talking about, a reasonable balance of interests in South Africa, taking account the numbers of people, taking account the historical troubles that we had, the dispossession, etc., etc. But what we do say is
the thing is, the thing is like we need them too, right? And when you talk about ANC, is like the party that is been working with you guys. You understand? I believe it's a part that we've been working you guys.
it's not a simple and a single thing to handle in a revolutionary way by one-sidedly sort of expropriating without a compensation as if all white people are thieves. Because
What's it as if all white people are thieves? No one said all. You know, like when the opportunity appears in South Africa, as a communities, as a people, they call others to say like, come to South Africa. There is a land. We took the land. This is what happened during apartheid, right? They will say like, come to South Africa. We have the land. We remove the people who staying there. They send in invest from Europe so that you can come here, right? Then they come with the thing of like others we bought them. You bought them. Yes. It be the question of like, yes, you bought them. But when you notice the one you bought is a stolen one, that means you bought a stolen product. It can be like something like that. To find out like, man, you bought a stolen product, a product that is being wanted. You understand? That's where the problem starts. So you realize now it's like, oh my god, I bought the problem, the land that is being stolen. We need to show those things. And then we have in South Africa, we in South Africa we have constitutions, right? That protects everyone. So based on that constitution that protects everyone, we 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 see people breaking the laws like Orania, because this topic is all about Orania. So like why we have Orania while the law says like there are no people going to say like no one is allowed to stay, which is a part of freedom charter. I don't know if you know what is a freedom charter is. I don't know if you understand the word freedom charter. To say everyone is allowed to live, everyone to live, everyone must own the land that is work on it, something like that. So like now we see others they owning the land, big land, and then they separate themselves to say like we don't want to stay with this kind of people. And the question of like, what if us as Botswana, what if us as Zulu people, what if as Sotho people say like in Free State we don't want these people, we want to be only Sotho people so that we can focus on our culture. You understand? So this thing, this part where we talk about this part where we talk about isolations, people isolate themselves. This is what caused a divide. That's what I'm saying. Like, how can ANC allow something like that? That's why I felt like ANC failed. ANC failed our people. They promised us the land. We've been waiting for land for years, but even today we own nothing. You understand? This is so painful. The part that we need to focus on, that we need to talk about it. Right? People are struggling, we are struggling, but we have everything. Those are things that I focus on and talk about them a lot.
Because we do not believe that is true. There are, I believe, obviously, points of positive discussion around this. And that is why we would like to go to answer the first question, to go in this discourse to a more fundamental level than bickering about what is viewed as commodities, as if land is just a commodity. As long as we are bickering about land as if it was a commodity, we'll not reach anything, because people will just fight about their material interests. If we look at land as living space, as the place where you are grounded, and we have a mutual relationship of mutual recognition, then I am totally of the opinion that we could reach a sensible agreement that need not have South Africans at each other's necks, or trying to kill each other for land. That we could reach a point where there is enough for all to live in a way that that sees to the dignity of our people, being black or white, being Afrikaners as well.
Honorable Quill.
Thank you very much. You know, Chairperson, it's very much painful to sit and listen to what the Orania people are saying in terms of what happened to us as Black people. He's talking about fair.
Like, because of the thing of like, they don't want to they don't want to become equal to black people, right? It's a thing of like, now us as black people, we must suffer for them to live their best life. Because of this thing, it's going to be in a two ways to say like, who's going to suffer here, right? So us, we must suffer for them to live their best life. What is happening? So we must sacrifice. So like, okay, we accept we are defeated. Our forefathers lost the land. Yeah, yes, we accept that. This is what they're saying. This is what the intuition to us. So like, accept the land is gone. That's why we created the place for our children, right? Like Orania, where it's like black people are not allowed to stay there. Those kind of issues. So like black people are not allowed to stay here. And it's so painful to see black people, they don't have place to stay. Where's ANC? What is ANC is doing to make sure these people are sorted? You see them people in Kasi struggling, depend on those 350. Um, 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 we see them busy going to informal settlement where there's no electricity, there's no water, right? And then it's a question of like, why is like that? Why is like that? We found out there is no, we have nothing, right? We found out like these people, they are, during apartheid, they moved them to a small box of matches, which is, they call it, the box of matches, they call it RDPs. Our forefathers, they were making kids during apartheid. They were making, during, not during apartheid, even before apartheid, they were making more kids. Like now, you need your own space. There's high unemployment rate. So like now you need your own space. You can't get your own space now, right? Then we must accept it. Must say like, okay, this is very wrong. It's very wrong, right? Because of like now we are going to have kids, everyone going to have family, but we found out that we have nothing, right? We found that we have nothing in our names. There's a problem that we are facing stuff with. There's a problem that we are facing stuff with and we are not allowed to speak. We are not allowed. We're not allowed to. We're not allowed when the ANCs try to make everyone equal, they run away. They call Trump. Trump is Trump is what they call it. Trump. There is what do I call it? There is genocide and stuff like.
And equitable distribution. And he is considering number as a factor. But where they are situated in Orania, just next to where they are, there are blacks who are staying in a more area it's unbearable.
It's like she's saying like where she said there's a place where like black people are sent to a place where like no one can live on. No one can live on those kind of places where black people are staying, right? This thing that we're experiencing stuff like so like for us to suffer is normal. For us like to suffer, I think they make it normal things like black people they're okay with suffering. Us we don't embrace suffering. And that's what we tell our people say like EFF is the only way to change our situation, to change our background, so that we can move forward and able to live the best life or the better life. Not the best life, at least the better life.
They can't even, as he says, he has that heart of equitable shares and agreeing on fair distribution of resources. Why don't they, as the whites who are staying in Orania, start by doing what he is preaching now to us?
Hmm. That's why like when I say ANC fail black people, it's going to happen over like it's going to happen over like it's going to happen over like okay, I want to hear yeah, I'm saying like now. I'm going to happen over like why we have why we have thing called Orania, right? Why we have a thing called Orania that broke our law, that violates the constitution of this country. Yes, we are debating. They're living their best life. They are. We work for them. I get that. We work for them. Um, 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 they employ us. Their forefathers work so hard, not so hard. Doesn't mean when they beat us, then everything. And even that, it comes to my mind. So like we defeated apartheid. We defeated apartheid, but we don't have the land. How does that make sense? How something like that? So like yes, we defeat apartheid, but when you say like where's the land? We don't have the land. You say yes, we defeated apartheid, blah 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 blah. But when someone comes to say like someone comes to say like where's the land? Someone asking very nice, say like yes, I can see you are happy, you're enjoying. Say like you defeated apartheid, but where is the land? You're going to say what? So like yes, we defeated apartheid. We talk about it. And now we have right to speak. As you can see, I'm doing my video. But where is the land? Where is ANC? And we see lots of white parties against seeing black people moving forward. Black people, ANC try to do BEE. White parties, they're against it. They're against affirmative action. They're against, but they don't think like we have nothing. We can remove all those things if we get the land back. So like, okay, you don't want these things, so give us our land back then. Give us our land back, then you guys can keep everything. So the land must be returned.
My question to you, Sam.
You see, like when you lose it like that is a problem. That means the welfare is so bad. Okay, it's good. It's good. It's good. Let's give a chance to speak because these are matters that affect us. This is the matters that affect our future. These are the matters that we need to discuss. We need to talk about them. You understand? You say that you are all South Africans and what, but they are keeping something like that.
You are saying the land must be shared equitably. And you also mentioned the issue of numbers. Would you agree with me that the land, the Orania itself, can be distributed equally to those who are staying around it? Will you agree that the land that is in the hands of the white minority, if it comes to a push, can be distributed according to the numbers of people, according to the percentage of the black people that are in this country?
I love your question. Proper. I love your question. This is a proper question. Because of black people, they are rightful owners of this country. Africa as a whole, black people are owners of Africa. South Africa, we are the majority. And no matter billion years to come, we are always going to be majority. We produce kids. We have the culture. We are African from Africa as a continent. So like it's a thing of like now when the company employ, I want to talk about affirmative action. When company employ, we check about small numbers of people are here, Indians, Chinese, whites, and because those people are just are here, and people from here they need to take the job first. They need to be and they want to take the job first. You understand? But it's a thing of like now in that case they will come and say like so white people are not hired. I hear Hunavant was talking about that issue. Mentioned like these whites who are living in South Africa are going to find employment and talking about the skills that they need to build this country. South Africa does not go forward because of they don't have the real skills. He mentioned things like that. And I was like, okay, I hear you. Imagine things like that. So like these people are living in this country because of like they are not getting employed because of affirmative action. Then that's the question that makes me to question myself to say like he's saying he's saying like that black people they don't have skills to build South Africa, right? And this me pisses me off when I see older people, our fathers, our mothers, who
Honorable Ngwil, you will get the answers after he concluded the
And
after we.
unfortunately, I can't speak to him outside. This is
Yeah,
the only platform I can
no,
speak to him.
no. Your question is not relevant to the subject matter. Honorable Shivambu, is it a follow-up because we
No, yeah,
don't take second
just
rounds?
quickly. Uh, so the white population in South Africa is demographically about 5% of the entire population.
Just imagine 5%. Just imagine a 5%, the whole 5%.
And statistically, in terms of the Surveyor General owns like close to 80% of the land, particularly arable land. What do you think should be a progressive land ownership demographics? Like Black people is 80% of the population. What do you think should be a proper balance over what period of time?
As you conclude, Honorable Pasov, answer Honorable Shivambu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would refrain from the kind of simple mathematics into which
You guys, why you separate people? Why you come from Europe? Your forefathers, not you. Your forefathers come to Europe and they don't understand what they've done to black people, and then create your own site, right? And then, you know, like what pissed me off is June 16. You understand? June 16 is a time of like where the running party ANC created reconciliation. They created their own of some box. The some box that were beating black people. The some box that were beating our people. That what pissed me off again a lot.
this leads, because land is not just land. If you move from the east of South Africa to the west of South Africa, you see very, very different climate areas, etc., etc. I do believe that South Africa is ideally, to come back to the first question put, South Africa is ideally a community of communities in which recognition is a key part, which would at this stage by an isolated change of section 25 of the Constitution be undermined. And that is why we are against the change of that section in an isolated way. We are not against an opening up of a broader discourse regarding these questions, but we are not in favor of just this isolated change. We believe that if you disregard not what people want, but who they are, it cannot be without repercussions. That was the case under apartheid, and that is the case today. I thank you.
So like guys, in South Africa we are facing lots of problems. In South Africa we are facing lots of problems. In South Africa we are facing lots of problems, right? And it's a thing of like we need to fight for what belongs to us, because of it's still like ANC failed us. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the future is only in EFF, right? I understand. Like people are going to say like ANC is the future, ANC is the future, but the future is only on EFF. That's the only, and he's the only man who's fighting for you. He's the only man who fight for black people, and they don't see it because they love when people they come and lie to them, lying after lying. This is what they love when people come to them and lying.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bosov, for your replies. The time is expired. We thank you very much for your.
So like let's move to other one. I will just visit something, but the work is going forward. The issue of the land is going forward. We are talking this 2026, but we're still talking about the land. Just imagine in 2026, we are still talking about the land. This thing.
Wherever it shows its head, particularly on the picket lines of a defense of a constitutional order. But Mr. Zuma must be consistent because he ought to know that the reason there are still racists in our country proud enough to publicize their ideas on social media, on the picket lines, is because him as a leader, he has done nothing to disrupt the conditions.
You say like racism is a ANC fault, say EFF Mdlozi. The reason said is a thing that we see happening and ANC allowed them. The one I'm going to talk about is how can you allow people do the place and say it's Orania, where like black people are not allowed to live there. What do you call that? Who don't have a culture in Africa? Everyone in Africa they have culture. Right? They say like we need to preserve our culture, we need to preserve who don't have a culture, comment there. Who don't have a culture? Comment there, who don't have a culture? Because of here in South Africa we all have culture. So I want you like to tell me to like who say like these people don't have a culture. I think it will make sense. So that I know like when I comment in Africa, I don't talk about people who came here based on whatever the situation. I'm talking about people who from here, Nigerian, Zimbabwe, every African continent, they have their own culture, right? Especially in Southern. We have our own culture, right? And then it pisses me off when it's like, come on, guys. Come on. We need to fight. We need to wake up. As a South African watching this video, wake up and change your country. Because of no one is coming to change your country. No one is coming from Europe and come to change your country. No one is that. No one will do that again. No one will do that again. Coming from Europe and change your culture, oh, no one will do that.
That make anti-white, anti-black racism flourish. The entire 23 years of ANC rule have not transformed the conditions of black people, the very conditions that make black people a hated and a despised people across the world or in our country. They've done nothing to disrupt white privilege that sustains white supremacy. And if anything, they should drop their heads in shame that there are still racists who are proud enough, 23 years into democracy, to do such things. If anything, that's another reason why they should step down, because they are failing to decolonize. So we are here with the blessings of the rains. There are no thunderstorms. These are blessing rains. The rains are also here to register that Zuma must step down and Asichiki, he must step down.
See? See, like the only people who make us to
Well, EFF leader Julius Malema says the party is unapologetic
to fight for black people. It's only one party, and we all know it. And then we act like we don't know it. We act like we don't love it, because I remember when lots of black people experiencing we can mention experiencing apartheid, racism, because of others they still believe we are in that situation where we're like black people. Oh, this thing is blurry, can't even see me. Uh, um, 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 they can't do those kind of stuff. You understand?
about protests at H&M stores across the country by the EFF members. And speaking to party supporters at Westerberg in Polokwane in Limpopo a short while ago, Malema said the EFF is simply teaching H&M a lesson.
We cannot allow the humiliation of black people to continue. No one should make jokes about the dignity of black people and is left unattended to.
There's the only person who fight for a black child. There's the only person who fight for a black child. And then when he needs your help, when he needs your vote, you don't vote for him. When he needs your help, no one is voting for him. People, they act like they don't need him, and we all know like we do need him. But it's because I know it is for now. It is.
Make no apology about what the fighters did today against that store called H&M. All over South Africa, H&M stores are closed because they called our children baboons. So what did
Who call us who call our children baboons? So like they call our children baboons. Hibatu. Why they call our children baboons exactly? Why they call our children baboons?
give them a lesson? How do I today or 20? Because we are not going to allow anyone to use the color of our skin to humiliate us, to exclude us. We are black, we are proud, we are black, we are beautiful, we are black, and we are not ashamed of being
No, I'm saying like let's put Julius Malema into power. That's what I'm saying to lots of black people. To say like, if you want to change this country, if you want to make this country better, we need someone like Julius Malema. That's how you're going to change the country. That's how you're going to change the country. By selecting someone like Julius Malema. Don't select people who are here to play. People we select people who have the courage to speak their mind. People have the courage to face these things that we are experiencing in South Africa. Right? I can agree, like man, for me, like to be previous and like this, and to react on someone like Julius Malema, it takes a bravery, it takes courage. Let's go and listen to Julius Malema. Ay, senzeni thina Yawa yawa, oh wele, oh yeah lele, oh yeah lele, yawa yawa, oh wele, yawa yawa. Oh, you know this song, man. This song, dog. Yo, it reminds me of us. Yawa yawa, oh wele, yawa yawa. Senzeni, yawa yawa, oh wele, oh lele. Oh wele. Though we need to make this guy president. If you believe like ANC does not take you serious based on what I explained, and you want to change South Africa, the only person we have who can change our situation, the only person we have who can make this country better is Julius Malema. There's the only person who can make this country better. That's the only person who can make this country better.
Where was this black consciousness and black unity when the Marikana workers were killed? Whose blood nourished the birth of this economic emancipation movement? While the so-called true leaders of black unity were sitting as state president and even justified.
So like what's happened is like when you talk about ANC failed black people is a main point where like Julius Man will come about what happened in Rustenburg, Marikana. Where like people say like we don't have food, we need to pay school fees, we need to buy food for our kids. Why don't pay us? Because everyone in South Africa have the right to strike. You have the right, you can wake up and start saying like I don't have a job. You can wake up and start and say like man, life is so bad. I can just wake up and say like you understand. So the thing of like now the thing of like now when people they can just wake up and strike because of they feel like they are not heard, they feel like they're not treating well, they feel like there's lots of way they need to put to change this country. This is the only person we can go for, Julius Malema. They can mention others, they can mention their names, they can others come with the strategy of Abraham Bear just to get the votes of people.
The killing of mine workers in Marikana, who were all isolated there. Did
How do
the
you?
need for black unity not exist when the youth of this country were shot, jailed, and killed for demanding free education under the new messiah of black unity? When the EFF offered its 6% in parliament to amend the constitution of South Africa to expropriate land without compensation, and this was rejected by the former liberation movement, where was the black unity? Fighters, you must never allow black consciousness to be misused.
About EFF taken. Oh god, I don't know which wifi I was using now. Okay, it's back. Black people must not fall for the faults of land can be taken. Illegal banks will collapse. Say like there's no difference to say like black people are already suffering. So I think it's better that way. People are already living in poverty. So for me, it's like it's the thing that's already existing. You understand? I don't know if it makes sense. It's the only thing that is existing.
There are individuals who committed themselves to undermining the liberation of black people while in government and now, in an attempt to rescue their leaders of compromise and collaboration as head of state, director general, CEOs of strategic state-owned enterprises. They reach for black consciousness as they approach.
Ayawa, ayawa, wele, ayawa, wele, awele, awele. Let that Tahilo Tawamabana, you know? I give
born out of convenience and opportunism.
I think like we need to be honest, man. We need to come to extent where like we need to accept that um we need to accept that when ANC, yes, is fought for us during apartheid, they defeated apartheid, but how apartheid ends, it didn't end like whites, they must go back to Europe. The land must return to people. They end like the people say like we give you freedom. Just imagine people they were beating you, killing you, and do wrong things to you, and then they say like we give you freedom only. Where is the land? You guys can have a black president. The land that means a country. The land for people. The land for dignity. Nothing. Yes, and we hear our president become smart and he's a businessman. People they believe like that when they put Ramaphosa into power. So like this guy knows business. This guy understand the business. This guy, wow, those kind of words. So like yeah, understand everything. He's going to change this country. But the state of this country, like now as we speak, is in a bad state. It's in a bad state. You understand? So it's a thing of like what is happening exactly, right? And how can we change that? And to ask yourself, how can we change that? I have an answer for you, EFF.
Political, black consciousness is a political conviction that not only relies on the color of your skin, but also on your consciousness itself. You can be black yet advance divisive politics of tribalism. You can be black yet act as an agent of white supremacy and corruption. You may
Like no one, you know, like people who want change, people who say like we want change, people who say like we want to be equal. For those people, you need EFF. Don't say like you want equal, you want opportunities, you want this kind of stuff, and don't want to see lots of black people in the shacks because of like now, when degrees fall, what will happen? This is a question I was asking myself now. It's like man, I was like, oh my god, if degrees like now, we see unemployment rate is high, people that have degrees are sitting at home, what will happen? Hmm? I was asking myself that question. So like, what will happen? It makes me to think hard. So like, what will happen? You know. So but
extent be defined by deception and
oh
dishonesty.
like
You can be black and still sell
will
out
be
your
like
brothers and sisters
for
for a few pieces of silver.
you know.
Pursuit for liberation. We subscribe to a political unity defined by ideological conviction and honest politics. A unity that will bring about the defeat of our strategic enemy. Our enemy knows that it is the EFF that is the true liberation movement and not a pocket knife for individuals and self-gratification. In our history, we have never been lived our faith. As a result, we do not yet claim to be the home and inspiration of black people and black community. We have earned this role. It is the flag and the logo of the EFF that strike.
Mm. Oh my god, you all guys heard about this news. 11 learners have been killed while on their way to school in Square in Fanabale, Gauteng. Oh my god. Sharing those level innocence so on the internet, what's going on cause more damage than what we already know. They are truly disturbing videos. Guys, this is not nice to come across. Visual on social media, family members create trauma images that not even therapy can write. this is the life that you're focusing on. This is the life that you're moving on where like they are shooting every day. You understand? Right?
Here into the hearts of the white capitalist establishment. This is because within the fear of the enemy, for this we must be done. The EFF is not in a fight for its own survival, but because we already live in the hearts and minds of them. We are now in a fight as one to use ideology as a weapon of self-defense. If we allow the politics,
So like now what I'm going to say, because like now I'm going to say like man, to change our country, we need EFF. Yes, you can't see me. I do a content, it's a bad content, but the work must be done, man. This is the motivation I'll give you today. The quality is bad, but the information is there. That's what is important. Stay tuned. Bye.